Insert coin. Press start. Player 1, ready!
Video game announcers are kind of a curious thing. They go all the way back to the early arcade days when games were fast, competitive, and still figuring out how to communicate what was happening on screen. But as games evolved, visuals improved, tutorials got smarter, and the UI started doing more of the explaining. Announcers slowly stopped being necessary, which is why nowadays, when a game does have an announcer, it's usually a very deliberate stylistic choice. And in those cases, even in games full of great characters, the announcer often ends up becoming the voice of the game itself. So in this video, I'm going to go through the top 10 announcers in video games. This is my personal list. The order could absolutely change depending on your taste, but I think these are some of the best examples of how powerful a video game announcer can be. So, let's get into it. At the top of the list for me is Mortal Kombat, because to me it's just the quintessential voice that comes to mind if I think about the general idea of a video game announcer.
Round 1, fight! Shinnok wins.
Truthfully speaking, it's really not the most original voice, but it perfectly matches the tone of brutality and violence that Mortal Kombat is famous for. And even though the game series has been around since 1992, they've kept the voice extremely consistent.
Baraka, Sub-Zero.
Scorpion, Sub-Zero.
It's just such a joy to scroll over the characters and hear him say each character name, and then of course, during the battles themselves.
Sub-Zero wins. Flawless victory.
Finish him!
At number 2 is Halo. If Mortal Kombat is raw spectacle, Halo is cool confidence. This is the voice you hear every time you do something skillful during multiplayer, like getting medals,
double kill, triple kill, perfection, extermination,
or whenever something happens in the game modes like capture the flag or assault. I would describe this voice as just sounding super slick, high energy, and just plain cool. And consistency matters here too. Jeff Steiser has been the multiplayer announcer across the entire series since the original back in 2007 all the way to present day. I think it's fair to argue that the announcer is just as much the voice of Halo as is Master Chief.
unfriggin' believable.
Now for this one, it's tied to a tiny location in the game, but for anyone who's played through the arena in Oblivion, I'm pretty sure you've got fond memories battling it out and hearing this voice.
It's the blue team versus the yellow team in a battle to the death! Lower the gates!
I would say that this video game announcer is unique too, because he introduces opponents, explains fights, and has something different to say each time you go in to compete. So he feels a bit alive and like he's actually up there in the stands watching the fight in the arena. More like a real announcer than a voice of God kind of thing.
You almost have to feel bad for the yellow team's Khajiit, for the blue team's gladiator is a combatant you know and love. Let's see how they fare!
At number 4 is the Team Fortress 2 announcer. This voice is unique because the announcer is a woman, so that already sets it apart from 90% of other announcer voices.
Your team is dead. Good luck. Dominate him! Crush his bones to powder!
And this announcer, again, isn't some voice of God style. It's a specific character in the game called the Administrator. And the voice sounds like it's coming from speakers around each level, which I think just fits the game really well. And this announcer is not neutral. She sounds very upset when your team is losing.
The robots have installed a teleporter!
And happy when it's winning.
Yes! Yes! We've launched the rocket!
Valve was just really good at casting voices in this era, back when they were, actually making games. But yeah, Portal, Left 4 Dead, Team Fortress 2, they all just had amazing voice actors. Number 5 is my wild card. Strange Brigade isn't all that well known of a game, but I think their use of the announcer is one of the best in recent games. If you've played the game, it's easy to see that the announcer is the voice and the personality of the whole game.
Good lord! Nefarious necromancy! What horrific hocus-pocus summons these cadaverous creations back to loathsome life?
He comments on everything you do, introduces enemies, cracks jokes,
I had a cat once. Once!
and even reacts if you just stand still for too long.
Taking a break. There is a pause button, you know. Fine. Stand there. See if I care. You shan't get anything from me. We'll soon see who breaks first.
This one is just pure arcade hype. Louder and more aggressive and exaggerated than Mortal Kombat, you can hear this announcer was having a whole lot of fun while recording these lines.
Extreme Combo! Counterbreaker! Killer Instinct!
Honestly, you could argue that this announcer is even better than Mortal Kombat's, but I think the game itself didn't get nearly as successful as Mortal Kombat. So even though this isn't way up high on my list, the performance is legendary and super fun to listen to.
Ultra Combo!
Number 7 is League of Legends. As soon as I heard this voice, it just stood out immediately.
Welcome to the Howling Abyss. The battle will begin in 30 seconds.
Again, a female voice instantly helps make it stand out, but especially because this one has a softer, more fantasy-leaning tone. If they just went with a traditional sports announcer kind of voice, I don't think that would have jived very well.
You are on a killing spree. An enemy is unstoppable.
This one is pure nostalgia. It's Pokemon Stadium from the Nintendo 64 at number 8.
Right, that's third! Whoa! Looks like a bad Pokemon choice! Down! That didn't take much!
I like this voice a lot because the announcer kind of just sounds like a regular guy who's excited to be part of these crazy Pokemon battles. Playing the game, there's just no avoiding him for even a minute. He comments on absolutely everything that happens, every move you make, and every point of damage you deal. He'll let you know what's going on.
They strike fighting poses. What's the point of splashing?
Leave a comment if you grew up playing this game and heard it a ton like me.
Choose your fighter!
Another Nintendo hit. I just really like this announcer's delivery that fits well for the fast-paced vibe of the game. Something about it just sounds pretty unique compared to the average fighting game.
3, 2, 1, go!
I think if you were to hear this voice from the other room, you'd know immediately what game that person was playing.
Game!
Last but not least, Street Fighter, which I think rounds out the list nicely. I would say this voice is kind of more like a traditional sports announcer. Nothing too crazy, but it's solid.
Street Fighter 6! Double KO!
Strong voice performance and the classic and necessary ton of reverb on the voice that you expect for this kind of role.
No!
Alright guys, so that's my top 10 announcers in video games list. Leave a comment on how you would order things and what announcers you think I missed. And by the way, if you ever need an announcer voice for a game, a trailer, an event, or anything else, that's one of my specialties, and I'd love to help you craft an awesome voice. You can find all my details in the description below. Alright guys, thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.